Now, when it comes to our PIQs, here's some piece of advice on just to help you out with that, as well as you have that advice within the packet. It has that form of the personal insight questions. But answer. Make sure that you are on topic and that you are answering the question. Too many times do I read personal statements where I'm like, oh, this is great, but the question was leadership. You're talking to me about your creativity. Are we answering the question? So it's making sure that you're on top and answering the questions. Read it out loud to yourself before you send it to a case manager, or just read it out loud to yourself. This is a great rule of thumb, just because as you read it to yourself or as you say it aloud, your ear will automatically be like, ooh, that sounds a little funny, or ooh, that's a no statement. Be open, be vulnerable, give content, give context. They want to know where you're coming from. They want to know what you're going through. Just be open, because remember, as open as you are within your application is as much as that school is going to know about you, because they're not going to call you for an interview. They're not going to text you and say, oh, what you mean by this, or what happened in your life. As much as you express is as much as they will know about you. So make sure you're as open and you reveal everything that it is that you want them to know about you. Then another little tip is review your application. The application itself, not the personal statement. Of course, review the personal statement, but the application itself, and see if there's any questions that come up in your mind. Maybe it's like, why did they stop doing this extracurricular activity? Why did their grades start dropping? Why did all of a sudden I became less involved? Those are different questions that could come up as you review your activities list, as you review your transcript. Those are the same questions that the person evaluating your application will have. So make sure that you take that opportunity to answer those questions within your personal statement. And that's a little trickier kind of thing to do, which is why ask a case manager. Ask any one of our lovely case managers to say, hey, can you review my application with me? Can you help me out? Can you review my personal statements? Because we will happily guide you. We will happily support you. We will happily let you know, like, oh, like, I had a question about this. And if I have a question about this, most likely the person reviewing your application will too. So we're here to support. We're here to help. That's what we do. Another fun thing that the application has is an additional info session. And a great thing for that additional info section to utilize and maximize is you can either talk about your academics and the opportunity for the context in your school. The UC system doesn't know every little detail about your school. For example, a school like Pola's, they may not really know that the gateway into getting into AP classes is your performance in the year before. It's how your relationship is with your teacher. Will that teacher recommend you to take those AP classes or those honors classes? It's a great way to kind of provide that context of saying like, oh, my school actually limits my APs just because they are not able to offer it, or they don't want to overwhelm us as students with those AP classes, so I'm only limited to just 2 classes. It varies from school to school. Some schools are like that. Deficiencies or inconsistencies in your application or your grades or anything along those lines. What happened within a certain grade level? What happened with these grades? Maybe they weren't so great. What was happening within that if you didn't address it within your personal insight question? And a big thing, it's not another personal insight question. It's not a place to just say, oh, let me just put in my extra PIQ that I wrote in English. No. That's not the place what it's for. What you can talk about is COVID, how it's affected you. How did it make you grow? How did it change your life? Be authentic, be honest. How has it impacted you? How has it impacted your mental health? How have you overcome? Are you thriving in the middle of a pandemic? This is something new to everyone across the world. So schools want to understand, and they want to see, how is it that you're overcoming? What's going on? Where are you mentally? How do you feel about even going to school or applying to schools? So that's a great thing to even talk about within your personal insight questions, or not personal insight questions, additional information section. So now let's get into the schools themselves. Let's talk a little bit about them. This is more so for yourself, just to kind of get an overview. For the UC system, this is kind of their way and their plan when they're coming. So within the summer, they're preparing for August, they're preparing for the new school year. When it comes to fall, applications start opening. So as you see, October 1st, right around the corner, CSU application opens, as well as FAFSA and financial aid. November 1st through the 30th is when you can actually start submitting your UC application. Between December and January, that's really when supplemental information is due. Supplemental information, I'll just talk about it right now, is just depending on the program that you're applying to, especially if you're applying to any arts programs or any arts majors, they will require more information based on the school. So either that's a portfolio, a performance, some type of additional information, which will get emailed about, and it will tell you within the application as you're doing it based on the major that you select. Between December, January, and February, they're starting to review the applications. They're starting to look at them. They're trying to see, looking at all the information that they have to see who they should be accepting into their schools. March 2nd is the deadline for FAFSA. And between March 1st to the 30th is when you will start finding out. After that time frame, crazy time frame, because we're going to be finding out for schools. We'll be stressing out. It'll be fun, is when they'll also start telling people about the wait list and starting to let people off their wait list. And by May 1st, you have to decide what school you have to go to.